Hey big art muscle friends, in this video we're going to draw a string of glowing light bulbs. Materials are linked in the description below, so grab what you need and let's get started. To start this project, you'll need a light bulb template or to draw your own. I have templates linked down below, so feel free to download, print, and use those. The first part of this project is all about blending. And there are a few ways you can blend colors, especially using oil pastels. Start by picking a color. And then option 1 is to use a light, medium, and dark version of that color. Think light blue, medium blue, and like midnight blue. Another way to blend is using analogous colors, colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. And that's what you're going to see me doing here first. I have chosen red as my primary color, no pun intended, my first color, and I'm going to blend it using red orange, and then my lightest color will be yellow orange. So all of these colors are next to each other on the color wheel. They're very similar. Now that you have a good understanding of how to choose the colors, let's talk about what I'm doing here in the video to blend them together. You'll notice I have a scrap piece of paper. That is really important to keep your hand from not smudging the entire project. Then you're going to start by outlining the light bulb with the darkest color. It's about a finger width wide. That size might change a little depending on the size of the circle you use, but it's a great place to start, just the finger width wide, because typically if you want your light bulb to look like it's glowing, you want to leave a little more room for the lighter colors. All right, back to blending. The second layer of color should be also about a finger width wide, and you want to put it right next to that darker color. Then you're going to take the same lighter colors you used. So in this case, I'm using my red orange to blend that stripe, that circle stripe, into the darker red that I put before it. Let's focus now on the technique I'm using. I'm putting down my next lightest layer, which is the orange. It looks like a circle stripe so far. Notice I've turned the page every time. Now I'm going to go back and forth with a feather light touch, turning the page every time to get that consistent mark making so my blend looks really smooth. If it still looks stripy, it means you need to keep blending more. Sometimes you need to go back with the darker color too. I typically do like to blend with the lighters. The last layer is the easiest one. You can just circle, circle, circle through like a tornado and go all the way to the center. You still need to focus on blending outward though. It will take patience and a couple of tries. You gotta have a soft touch because if you're too hard, you'll get streaks. Repeat this process on as many light bulbs as you like. Just start with a color, choose a light, medium, and dark version or analogous colors, and blend, blend, blend away. After you're finished blending, it's time to add the filament, the part of the light bulb that gives it the glow. You'll want to practice first. It's like a loop-de-loop line. You start by going up, loop over, and across, loop down. Up, loop over, loop down. I always practice with a darker color, but when you add the filament to the light bulbs, you're going to use a white pastel, and you're going to be pressing pretty hard. You want to make sure the top of your filament reaches the center lightest part of your light bulb because that's the part that's glowing the most. To make these light bulbs look like they're made of glass, I add a reflective highlight line at the top of each light bulb. Now that we've finished coloring our light bulbs, it's time to color in the stems. I don't know if they're called stems, that's just what I call them. Pick a color, any color, outline that little bottom part, and color it in. Now that the light bulbs are finished, it's time to cut them out. If you're feeling nervous about cutting circles, which is not easy. I recommend practicing first. You can download and print extra templates from the link in the description or trace your own circles. Either way, practice until you feel comfortable. You only get one chance to cut out the final bulbs, so be patient with this process. Remember, turn the bulb as you close the scissors for a smooth curved line. The more you snip, open and close your scissors, the more jagged and choppy your line will be. You want to open the scissors, and as you close them, turn the bulb at the same time. When you're done cutting out your light bulbs, use the same color pastel that matches your stem to draw a wire across your final page. I chose to do mine across the center as a gentle curved line. You could do yours diagonally, you can add loop-de-loops, any way you want. Then it's time to arrange the light bulbs in your favorite composition. There's no right or wrong way to place your bulbs across your page, but you do want to give them enough space, just about 3 or 4 fingers between each bulb. If you don't give that space, when you add the glow in the next step, they might clash together, creating a very crowded and messy composition. When you love where your bulbs are, it's time to trace the circular part only, not the stem. Use a pencil to do this. I know we're working with black paper. You will be able to see your pencil marks. Don't worry. And what you're going to do so you don't forget where each bulb is write the name of the color of that bulb inside. You're not going to see it later. So notice here again, trace the bulb only, not the stem. Label it and move on. Now it's time to add a layer of chalk to create that magical glow. There are a couple of ways you can add color. The first is to choose the color that matches your bulb. In this case, I started with pink, so I'm adding a layer of pink right on the inside of that pencil line, not outside, but right inside. Another option I'll show you here is to start with a similar color, red for red, and then I'm going to add a layer of yellow next to it. The additional color just gives the glow a bit more oomph. It's not necessary, but it is something you can do. Once you have a layer of color around each light bulb, get the white, and you're going to add one more layer of chalk inside that colorful layer. This addition of white really adds a lightness to your color that gives the bulbs that fantastic glow. And when in doubt, add more chalk. The more chalk you have, the more dust you'll have. More dust, better glow. To make your bulbs glow, you're going to use a swiping motion, starting in the center of your bulb, not on the chalk, before the chalk line. And you're going to swipe away, kind of like you're swiping through a tablet or an iPhone, looking at photos quickly. Don't go back and forth. You're just going to get a huge smudge. Always swipe in one direction only. Woo! Look at those glows. The final step is the easiest one. Glue these bulbs down. You want to make sure you have a lot of extra scrap paper here so you don't smudge everything. The oil pastel is smudgy, the chalk pastel is smudgy. So you're going to want extra pieces of scraps. Can't emphasize that enough. So what you're going to do is glue the back of the bulb, place it right where it needs to be, grab a scrap paper to cover it, then rub the light bulb down. This will ensure it doesn't pop up and stays neat. And voila! This one is slightly less impressive on screen here because my pink was really dark. Next time, I might choose to add a little bit more white. Let's see what the next few look like. And there you have it, a glowing string of light bulbs and the approval of Tiny Baby the cat.